I have realized today that I am a smart person in some areas, maybe not anything. And
Name one.
I need to go pee.
I don't get it. Oh, you are smart.
I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to get out of this situation.
You played me.
I'm trying to, I guess. Well, I mean.
I'm so sorry. You're just like, I'm smart in some regards. I'm like, name one. You're like, Dude, I'm not trying to gotcha.
I'm making this worse for me. That must be such a...
2 times I tried in different, like, very separate occasion, but I was drinking alcohol at the same time. Which I
That's
think
on
is...
you.
I know,
Yeah.
but I didn't know. Like, everyone around me was doing the same thing, and like, they were just fine.
They're irresponsible to... Did they know that it was your first time?
It was the first time for a lot of us.
Oh. So you're just weak.
Yeah. That's why I was so scared. I was like, maybe my body's just not, like, it just doesn't work. So I've been taking, like, tiny doses. You know how you, like, you take poison tiny bit so that at some point you're, like, immune? So I've been doing
vaccine.
that. I've been doing that for the past years. And then now it looks like I'm fine.
She's gonna be a weed head.
No.
She already looks like
Because it already feels like kind of when I'm drunk.
Right.
And I don't want to be drunk every day of my life. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yet.
No.
Yet.
I just don't
Wait
see the
until
point.
you feel so comfortable in it. And just your normal, sober self, it's just pure suffering. And all you want is just that craving to just feel relaxed. Nothing matters. Anxiety is gone.
You know Big Mouth?
No, I don't. You
the
keep bringing
depression cats? You're the
No, I
depression
don't.
cat right now. The depression cat is like...
You've said that. You've said that before.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know what...
Says, what if you want to come sleep and not care about reality? Because everything else is so heavy. Come sleep.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Are you recording?
Welcome to another episode of Jelly.
Wait, are you actually recording?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. We have that. And you'll clip it, and then we'll put it next to the actual depression cat thing.
The post that I said, I don't want my dad saying that I tried weed before.
Oh, maybe.
He will deport me somehow.
he's gonna be the third viewer.
Yeah.
He'd be like...
Juliet.
No!
How does your dad call you?
Juliet.
Juliet.
It's some
Juliet.
random thing like Kevin.
Ven a casa.
Yeah.
You coming back in el país. No alcohol.
Yeah, send me to like one of those like church places to make me Christian.
And
Drowns you.
conversion
You're gonna get
therapy.
baptized
Yeah,
once
oh yeah,
again.
conversion therapy.
I actually have a friend, and her parents, they gave her an ultimatum, which was you either go live with your brother or you stay with us. No, they told her you either stay to live with us or you go live with monks, so that they would therapy her. Probably.
Yeah. Did she
very bad.
go live with the monks?
No, she stayed with the parents, unfortunately.
And she wasn't saved.
No, it would have been horrible. It would have been horrible.
Okay.
Anyways,
Can I do my intro now?
yes.
Yeah.
Actually no. Jules, you do an intro.
What?
Because you're the special invité.
You're the guest.
Anyways, welcome to Jelly Podcast. Today we have Jay and we have Yanel. Thank you. Woo! Was that good?
I go by Nelly here.
Yeah.
Can we restart?
You just said her dead name. Please restart.
You're
Please restart.
Sorry, Nelly. Oh, I don't know.
Restart.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. We're gonna sit here until you
Until
give
I
us a
get
good
it?
one. Yeah. You know how many takes it takes me?
That's not even true.
Multiple?
Once. He literally said it once.
I only stuttered once in the entire time we've been recording, and I kept it in. I kept in my fuck up.
I don't think anybody notices.
It was at the start.
What's the subject today? Do you
So
want to say
you're not
after?
gonna do the intro. Jules.
No, I will do it.
Okay.
Can I introduce the subject, or do you want to introduce
Yeah,
it?
you can introduce the subject.
Okay. What's the subject then?
You know
we
what
don't
it is.
know.
Intelligence? Different types of intelligence? Slay! Welcome, everyone, to Jelly Podcast. We have Nelly today, we have Jay, and today we're going to talk about the different types of intelligence.
No, we're not.
Oh.
We're just gonna talk about intelligence in general, and how I'm superior.
We're gonna talk about the scales of intelligence.
The scales.
So low, middle, high.
Aww.
I
Last time. Wait, did you point low?
Idiots. This is what I meant.
Oh, and I'm Jules. I'm the guest. Whoops. Oh, I almost forgot to present.
Oh yeah. This is Jules. She's not gonna be here often,
Sorry.
if ever. Hopefully.
This is our trial.
This is our trial?
This is the trial episode.
This might be your best.
And last. I'm kidding.
So, as I do, I'm gonna be asking all the juicy questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start with you.
Hee hee.
You have pointed the finger at me and accused me of being HPI. What does that mean?
You're using the French version.
Oh.
HIB, I think, is the English version. High intellectual potential. Yes.
I don't think so.
You're hip?
I'm hip.
I'm Freddie fucking hipster. Verbatim what he said one day. It's in the Book of James.
It made sense in context. Anywho, so she's called me extremely intelligent. Actually, high potential intelligence. I don't know what that means. It's very flattering. And I would like to unpack that and why you think that. And well, first of all, what it means and why you think that.
First of all, I'd like to address the fact that it's one of my special interests, one of my hobbies, to detect the autistic people and the neurodivergent, neurospicy people. And I have a knack for it. I have a little knack. It's coming from my mummy.
My mummy.
My mom is the same way. And I have a lot of people in my
She's hip?
entourage. No, she always like my mom she's a kindergarten teacher, and she's always like trying to see who amongst her students is gonna be an HP.
Right.
There's always at least one, and she's
Okay.
always like, I think I got who it was gonna be.
Yeah. And
So I grew up with that a lot. So I'm always like very aware of the people around me.
Okay. What are some tells?
The tells, you guys are just different. I'm kidding. I'm not diagnosing you.
Oh, obviously, yeah. But I'm not gonna take whatever someone like on the street says. Hell, I'll barely take a professional's diagnosis. I'm just like, how'd you know I wasn't lying to you? You know.
I see.
But I just want to know, like, it just like any type of, oh, I see you in this light. I'm always curious to know what brought people to think that way towards me.
Oh, we're just supposed to flatter your ego in this episode.
Yeah, no, I've been super depressed, so I need I need an up right now.
Okay, so we have to...
The tiny theory concept, whatever, for me is, back in the days, the like psychologists, they used to consider HP part of the autism spectrum. So
Okay.
it was, you had like Asperger's, and they thought it was kind of, I don't know, somewhere around. I don't know why I went
Sure.
up. It's not up. It's, the little...
Hi.
Yeah. It's just the Asperger's, and then HP would be around it.
Mhm.
But it's, now we know that it's a separate thing. There are a lot of common traits, but it's a separate thing. And to me, I see it in the way those people view things, the way their brain works, like how they reason with things, or how they come to conclusions, how they interact with people, because the social component is also important. It's not just because before it was, they used to call it being gifted,
Yeah.
and so it implied that
They called me that when I was growing up.
okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
In
So-
several facets.
Now we don't say that word anymore because it implies that it's only something positive, and it's only about those people are smart. But it's not just that. There's a lot of social,
Like hiccups,
social
Context?
barriers.
things. there's
You're amazingly.
the social
yeah,
sphere is also
precise.
impacted by this diagnosis.
Right.
The social sphere and the emotional intelligence.
Is it
as
because
well.
it puts a lot of pressure on gifted kids?
It does, yeah, and it's also just not. It affects the way people around them
View
just
them.
interact with them, views them. Like, you shouldn't just act around them as if, oh, they're super smart, they can do anything, blah blah. Like, you have to be careful because they're not. They're kids, especially like pre-teenagers, I would say, they have like a different way to develop socially, emotionally, and it's better when teachers know actually what is going on with them, because they'll have, like, you have to adapt to their development.
It's just essentially they're kids at the end of the day, so you don't want like to put them like on a pedestal and just exploit like their intelligence, right?
Yeah,
that makes sense. I did watch a video on YouTube. What is it called? The channel is called like Books for Special Kids. I think it's something like that. And but it was like an interview with like this little girl. She was like 8 years old, and she's like this super like high intelligence. Like it's crazy to see. But I really like that they emphasize how it's important for her to still be a little girl and still have like her interests, the way she dresses, the toys she plays with, and other kids.
I feel like that has more in a it's more in the realm of like maturity and allowing youth, because in Max, of course, well, I'm not specifically diagnosed with any type of high potential as far as I'm aware, but I was definitely one of those kids that I didn't need to study, I didn't need to do anything, and I would get, like, I didn't have to try. And that bit me in the ass in college, where I had to do homework to actually pass. And even that, I could swindle my way around a few things. Like, a lot of my profs would actually be like, hey, okay, you're good at this, you won't do your assignments. How about when the exams are done, or during that time, I'll create like a little assignment for you, and I'll replace your grade for that. Like, I got away. It was easy mode, right? It was just that one prof that wouldn't give me that out, and that's the hard way that I had to learn. But where I'm going with this is, like, when you're coasting your entire life, eventually, like, I hit a brick wall that I didn't know how to navigate, because I didn't know necessarily how to study. I didn't know how to get better, because my starting point was already so high. Of course, I'm being generally speaking there, but there's truth in that. Like, if you see like a young genius, you gotta allow them to be youthful, but also you gotta humble them. Like, I don't know how you could do that in a necessarily productive and appropriate for a child's way. My dad did a bit. He'd be like, you're good. You're never going to be the best. There's always going to be someone better than you.
No, but
and I was like, oh, ah.
But that's the thing. I mean, like, just don't put it on a pedestal. Like, yes, it's important to take into account that they think differently from other kids, but it's important to, like, treat them like the other kids. Like, to include them and make them part of the environment and everything.
Yeah. But it's obviously, like, easier said than done. Because you could say that about it, because everybody has their own peculiarities, right? Everybody has their own little traits that don't necessarily fit in, and it's all nice and dandy to be super inclusive, but some people just don't connect properly, you know?
Yeah.
And it's easy to be jealous about certain things, especially when it comes to school, and you have one kid that's just like, you don't even try, you can play video games until like 3 a.m. And you still get near 100 on your exams, you know? While you have those other people that are staying up till 3 a.m. just studying. It's not fair. It's not fair. But like, I don't blame people that would feel envious towards that. In the same sense, I feel envious towards people that are just workaholics, because I need a lot of momentum to get the ball rolling, you know? So, and I'm always going to see people like, I can't necessarily ignore that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But, sorry, diverged just a tiny bit. Did you have anything to add on what was just said? By the way, like I said before, feel free to stop me, because I
was telling you that before. I was like, he's always telling me you need to stop me, but I don't.
Well, like, if you want to add something to a specific point, because I'll do like point, right? So if you want to stop me for a specific point, like,
I was gonna say, it's funny that you said everything was came easy to you, and then at some point you hit a wall and it was hard. And disclaimer that everyone is very different. Like in autism, like everyone has their own little, what's it called? The kind of the diagram where you have like the spider web thing. I don't know what's it called. Yeah. Everyone has their own chart with like how good or not, or how high you are on
their stat sheet.
Everyone, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But in the very like in the big average, the very like brute average, it's very common that kids like that will have the same pattern where everything is easy at school, and then at some point it stops being easy because the system is based on neurotypical kids, and so it's not anymore that it's too hard, but it's more what is being asked, the way things are structured. This doesn't work with their brain, and so at some point like they can't like move on as easily as it used to be.
When you say it's built for neurotypical kids, what do you mean by that?
It's there's not a lot of, it's not really adapted. Like you ask the same thing to everyone in the classroom, but some kids learn differently. Some kids.
Sure, but would you say like someone who's a bit, I don't mean this as in an offensive way, but like that's just slower, like has a learning. No, it's the same. It's in the same like spectrum. Sorry, no, continue. Maybe I'll get a better understanding.
I think I'm done.
Fuck.
But yeah, it was built for neurotypical kids, and it's the same way of learning for everyone, and it hasn't really changed. So, like autistic kids or kids with learning disabilities, they're being asked something, but it's not. There's the little, the metaphor for autistic kids is, oh, you're asking, like autistic kids are fishes, and they're being asked to climb a tree, and everybody else is monkeys, so it's easy for them. But you need to ask them to swim, and then they'll perform just as well. But it's just, you need to adapt the environment depending on how the student is. And unfortunately, schools are very like standardized, and so it doesn't leave a lot of room for different ways of learning.
Is that just an exclusion of kids on the spectrum, or are you talking about in general?
Even in general, but it's just even more like present for kids on the spectrum.
I think it's important to add historical context, because this form of no, but this form of education is very recent. We haven't had like mass education like that, like this in the past. So it's really interesting because, you know, in the past they had like smaller classes, so it was easier for teachers to like focus on one student at a time, and now we have like these massive classes. Like now classes here in Quebec, like you're gonna have 30 students, sometimes 40 students. It's really hard for the teacher to focus on students that have like different ways of learning. But yeah, it's an interesting problem, right? Because we want to give education to everyone, but we need like the people, we need the teachers. I don't know. But yeah, I
it's a big lack of resource for sure.
It's a big lack of resource, yeah. Because I don't want to say that the schools are excluding on purpose like neurotypical kids, but it is true there's like a flaw. There's a lot of flaws. It's still very recent and still needs a lot of polishing and all of.
There's still a few cushions. Like it's not all void. Like you got like tutors. You I think the access to internet, and now with AI too, it's so. If a kid is independent or autonomous enough, like again, I don't think I'm autistic in any strong way. No, but I feel like everybody has a little touch of it. Touch of autism.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't like saying that.
Oh, good thing I did.
Everyone is weird.
Are you gatekeeping?
But not everyone is. No, yeah. No, everyone has their little weirdness, but not everyone is autistic a little bit.
No, that's true. But like, I guess what I'm saying is like, your no pun intended, typical traits that you might synonymize. I don't know if synonymize is a word, but synonymize with.
But the stereotypes, like stereotypical traits. that you associate with people.
Yeah, it depends what you mean by stereotype, but because stereotype can mean things that aren't true. Some things have some truth. I'm going on to the semantics.
Classic Jay.
What was I saying right before?
What are we talking about? The ways of learning.
And after that,
like there are tutors.
Tutors.
And
so
self-learning and everything.
Right. Thank you. You guys are my tracker.
We do listen. We do listen.
I'm just not zoned out this time around.
Love that. That's a rare special one.
Yeah, special occasion. Once in a blue moon. Using all your brain cells for this.
Yeah, they're gonna be burned at the end.
Yeah. All 4 of them. So, like, especially in recent years, I think I did that growing up too. I just enjoyed learning on my own. Like, I enjoy just, for example, I learned piano at like 10 or something, like, because my brother was going through piano classes, and I was just like, music's nice. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck, I still don't know how to read sheet music. So, I think kids have that curiosity. I think that's another thing, like, when it comes to, like, education, if we have, for example, like, Soph, sounds like I'm going on a big-ass tangent, but I'll bring it back. Soph had an interview for a teaching job at a school, and she talked to me about it, and it was very interesting questions, like, how will you keep students engaged in learning the material, right? And one of them is just like, well, what she said was to build rapport, which is an important thing, like get the kids to enjoy being in your classroom and just feel comfortable with that vibe. But also what I thought of is how can you pique the interest of children to specific things? And everybody has their own like way they can make connections. So once I start feeling interested in something and I make that connection, I go kind of ham. Like, it's only recently that I started like really being interested in history, because I could see the parallels that I could do with like my storytelling, and seeing how like what were the consequences of certain big motions in these big movements in these societies. So with that motivation, it just got me on the computer, got me in the books, just reading away for anything, or playing around at the piano, learning the guitar, getting better at a video game, you know? So like it's there are ways, they're not solutions for like the lack of inclusivity in the general education system, but there are ways outside of that classroom to catch up and even excel, if that makes any sense. Like, you can even use an example of that one kid in first grade that already knew how to read, you know? Because they got interested, like, either their parents or some sort of influence got them a little roman, and they just started reading, like, the little red books. Yeah. You probably didn't have that, but I think they're Quebecois. Like, the little red books that were meant for, like, first graders. Yeah. You've got, like, a 4-year-old being like, you know, just going through that. And... you know, there's going to be cases where the parents forced them to do that. There's going to be cases where they have a genuine interest. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, oh, wait, I really like this movie, but it's based on this book, and there's more details in this book. I can learn more about the movie. And, like, you know, that type of connection. Yeah, so...
you can't expect kids to have the discipline to... want to learn, though.
No, you can't expect them, but there are ways to encourage.
Yeah, I think. But it requires like an external source, or either a parents or the school system too.
That's the thing. But yeah. I don't think, because what I'm trying to do is trying to be fair to the balance of things. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, there's a lot missing in the classroom. However, it's not completely missing from the entirety of life, right? Mm-hmm. If we were in a society where information was just locked off, then yes, that would be another problem. But like, what I do when it comes to like thinking up of like solutions to problems, generally speaking, is really consider like what we have, what we don't have, and how much of the problem needs to be fixed, right? And how much of the problem has been fixed or has like a band-aid on top of it. Listen, in some ways, my way of going to school got me dropping out. Well, the first time was because of the schooling, and the second time was more because of anxiety, which could be, you can put the finger at the schooling system too. It's like you're put in a class of 40, and at least for me, it felt very competitive for material that I hadn't touched in like a couple of years. I felt super stupid. Also, kids fresh out of high school are weird. They're really weird.
That's why we have CJEP.
Well, I was in CJEP. I went to Dawson when I went back.
Here?
Yeah.
No.
Well, thank God for CJEP. Imagine if you put all those kids in university right away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's fair.
No. No, we're really lucky. I'm lucky that I just had to lose like a few $100s to drop out. You know, I didn't have to lose like a couple K. I said a lot. I don't know if you had any thoughts thus far.
I mean, I'm also a former dropout. back in school somehow.
Get back into frame.
No, I'm scared. I have social anxiety. I'm a former dropout kid.
Yeah, but you've been doing good. You've been continuing.
Yeah, surprisingly. But I know it's not like a lot of people that drop out, they rarely go back to school, or if they try it doesn't work. So I know it's like a exceptional case. But I've also been through the same things like you. Like I understood the material and everything, but I don't know, I just felt like the system was failing me. But I feel like also like I had my own battles and everything.
What do you mean by the system was failing you?
I just felt like, well, maybe the system wasn't failing me because we can argue it like I could have gone out of my way to get the help that I needed, like in school, because I was struggling like to do my homework or like to understand some material. But that's like where the problem comes, where like the classes are so concentrated, like we have so many people in there that like I just fell in the background, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I was a failing student and the teacher didn't catch that.
Yeah, and the social anxiety doesn't help with that.
Yeah, exactly. There were other factors, but I do I feel like saying the system failed me is like a really intense way of saying it. I'm just saying like, I'm just saying like it's the flaw, like there's a flaw in there, like where I knew I was smart, but I didn't have the resources or the help that I needed to improve or do better, you know?
Yeah. I think the more accurate thing I would say is you didn't have them at ease of access, because the resources were there.
Yeah.
You know, but they weren't in arm's reach for a plethora of different reasons that are particular to you. Ideally, yes, the prof or, you know, the school system would be checking in and be like, hey, how's everything going?
Yeah.
You know? And obviously, hopefully the kid's also honest about it. Be like, everything's fine. Yeah. It's like, no, you've been having 40s for the last few exams. Well, here's the thing. I remember, this was secondary school. This is when I thought I was dumb. And it was actually in the transition. And maybe I've told you this before, but it was Sec 3. Science class, we had one exam, completely flunk it, another exam, like after my little character development, and I got near 100. And my teacher brought me to the side. I was just like, did you cheat? And I'm like, no, I knew the material, like I understood it. It's like, yeah, but your last grade was like 43. And now you have like 90 whatever. I'm like, well, I get it now, you know? And it was like that little back and forth. And he looked at me funny for a very long time. But no, and then I can constantly... But I think ideally, too, it wouldn't just be because he suspects me of cheating that he pulls me aside and be like, because I don't know, maybe I see different because I'm not a teacher, but like, if I grade my papers and I see a couple falling through, I guess it's tough if you have like a couple hundred students, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, and maybe you're underpaid too. Like,
it must be exhausting being a teacher.
I can understand the exhaustion.
Yeah, for sure.
But in my head, you're there. You go in knowing that the pay is shit. You go there knowing that kids are gonna be assholes. And in my mind, like, a teacher usually gets into that position out of passion and out of wanting to teach the new generation and helping that new generation.
But wanting to do it and being good at it is very different. Because when you're, I mean, I don't know here, but I know that in France, to be a teacher in secondary school, you learn how to teach your material, but you don't learn how to teach on its own. Like, you know what I mean? You just learn at being good at what you're doing and how to, like, evaluate and how to, like, create exercise and stuff. But you don't learn how the, like, pedagogical?
Pedagogy? Oh my god, I also...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, why can we not say that word?
Cutting this out.
Should we...
Pedagogical. Pedagogical. I gotta bleep that now. Pedagogical.
Aspect of teaching.
Or pedagogical.
Of, like, pairing with kids, knowing what they're learning.
Yeah, it's important to have good pedagogy.
Pedagogy, that's, yeah.
What does that mean?
Pedagogy.
Peda is kids. And goji.
I don't like how you said that and I winked at you at the same time. It's not a wombo combo.
I forgot what goji is.
Be a goji.
Direction or education. So it's just the art of teaching.
I see.
You know what I mean? Of just, like, seeing how the person in front of you is learning and how you can guide them by their favorite, preferred way to the solution.
I think when we talk about that too, we talk about how available the teacher is to you. Because a lot of teachers, especially in university, they make it hard for you to, like, get in contact with them, like, to understand material and everything.
Yeah, because by uni, you're supposed to know kind of how it is easier for you to learn, what are your better techniques, how you study, so they don't really need to be here for you that much. But I feel like in secondary school, the teachers need to be available. They need to teach you all the possible ways you have of learning, of studying, which one suits you better. And
so maybe I'm saying this in a very naive, from a really naive place, but my suspicion if I were a teacher is, let's say I'm grading those papers and one or two papers, like, these sets of kids are consistently doing pretty bad. My instinct, I would hope.
I was waiting for you to be, like,
distracted.
I noticed
distraught.
Stressed.
No, like, disturbed.
Oh, I am disturbed. I'm just holding it in. But also, I know that the thing doesn't pick it up as well. So.
Oh, okay. I'd be very offended if you picked up on my voice, but not on the girls. Opposite.
You mean on the
girls, but not my voice.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll edit it so it seems like you know what you're talking about.
I'm struggling here, by the way. I'm really struggling, TBH.
To talk?
Yeah.
Have you been just speaking French for the last, No, you work in English.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily have to speak in a formal way for an extended period of time.
Yeah, you're doing good.
I don't feel like I
Oh, actually, I have something to say. It's kind of cold in this room.
Really?
Yeah.
Usually I'm
shiver me timbers, you know?
I'm not turning on the heating. Do you really want me to turn on?
Oh,
put a blanket on. Yeah.
This is sarong.
The sarong.
That's sarong. Or this. I don't think this is gonna be really hot. You can take this instead.
The hockey puck one.
La polar.
Ah, yes. That's all I want to say.
Getting cozy up in here.
Oh yeah, this podcast is getting real.
Like we say, it's a hot cocoa, a onesie.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be nice though.
My pants are bothering me. I'm just gonna.
Yes, you know.
Now we're getting. It was the. Okay.
Was it going?
Here.
Was it going up your ass? Was your ass eating your pants?
No.
Oh, doesn't happen to me ever.
Get this visual out of your head, please.
I don't think of
I hate that
visuals.
you've done
I can't get away from that. I just slammed the door behind me and accepted that this is what I have to do with it.
I don't like that you went to that immediately.
Listen, I just consider all the possibilities. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes I just pull one out of my.
It
ass.
was not.
Anywho. So what was I saying? Let's go. My guides.
Intellectuals, pedagogy.
Your legs are so small.
No.
Leave her alone. You talk about her ass eating her pants, her tiny ass legs.
Yeah. Do you even do legs, though, bro?
Huh?
Do you even do legs, bro?
Oof, I do legs. I have good little.
Damn! You got the what is it? The volleyball legs?
No.
Can I?
I have these sometimes.
Can I?
Oh, these?
Yeah. Ah! C'est dur. It's hard.
I gotta censor that.
And then I have the quads too, but no, you can't really see. But anyways. God damn fuck.
I'll make sure to cut this.
Tiny but mighty.
Oh my gosh, your voice cracked.
She was getting mighty.
Yikes.
Anyways, all that to say, it is a hard job, and I don't have the resources or the time, but teachers need to adapt their classes more to every single learning style.
Yeah, but I'm curious, like, why teachers, on average, at least in my experience, they don't like run after.
No,
students.
they might, but it's not easy to first of all be aware of who would need accommodations, what type, and then because sometimes, like I said, the kids, they do well the whole time, and then suddenly they'll go back to being average or lower than that, and so you don't necessarily notice. I think
it's just that in an ideal world we have smaller classes and we have the teachers to manage the smaller classes.
But they cut a lot of budget for the public functions in the schools. So
it's okay. We have YouTube.
I'm not gonna go on political functions.
We have YouTube University. That's where I learn everything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So speaking of how I used to think I was dumb, like 10 minutes ago, and really not talking about it at all, just mentioning it really, really quick. I was curious to talk about your experience with that, Jules.
With feeling stupid?
Yeah.
The way I said that.
With
They're really
stupid.
The way you brought it to was so like... Hello.
I used to feel stupid when I was a kid. Because I just have like a slower way of learning. I'm like very meticulous and whatever about the way that I learn things. It's also very easy for me to like get distracted and go from one thing to another. Like, I'll be interested in this, and then all of a sudden I'm not interested in this. So now I'm interested in this. But anyways, yeah, when I was a kid, it was hard because I felt like excluded from my classes. I wasn't at the pace that the other students were, and oh my god, I remember they would do this in. I would go to the lycée français back when I lived in South America, and when I wasn't following the class, the teachers would send me to like kindergarten or like the grades below.
Oh yeah.
As like a punishment or whatever.
Yeah, they'll do it.
Really fucked me up.
Yeah, they'll do
also,
it.
something else that fucked me up is that one teacher thought I was a high potential. So they made me do this puzzle and I failed to do it, and they're like, never mind, she's just
Oh no.
And that really fucked me up.
They told you.
I don't think they told her up. Like, never mind, you're
no,
just dumb.
but like,
no, but it's really weird because like
we're testing you for that, and then, you know.
Well, yeah, they told me they were going to test me and they were going to make me do like a really hard puzzle. Like, they just took me out of class one day, made me do that, and in my head I'm like, oh my god, they're trying to see if like I'm like a special kid, I'm autistic, and then I failed the puzzle and they're like, you can go back to class. I still think about that. That's really fucked up. They did that to a kid.
So that's a failed interview right
Okay,
there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not about if they did a test. Tests are not like, do you succeed, do you not succeed? Like, it's also about how
I go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, also I was like alone. They like gave me a
still-
time, they left me alone, and they're like, figure it out.
You still don't know exactly what it is they were testing you for, no?
Yeah.
Or what the score or the outcome of that was, so.
Yeah.
You remember
You
the
never
puzzle
know.
at all?
Yeah, it was just like a bunch of shapes. It's I remember you were doing the puzzles were at the Tour de Jeu that are where we went to the Eden Center, went like to this game store, and they had like this like little puzzle where you have to like make the lines fit. It was something similar like that, like with shapes.
Oh.
Like it was like squares and circles and not circles, but like
In
triangles.
the WISC, which is the IQ testing, like standardized test, they have things like that. Because like one portion is the like visual spatial.
Yeah. It's
So-
yeah, it did make me think of that. I also did the IQ test when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing it for see if I had ADHD. Anyways, they told me I think I had like 114, 116, and they're like, yeah, you're below standard.
Below standard. I don't even average.
Not the average, but like they're like your school, because apparently every school has like a their
I
own
see.
average IQs, and they're like, you're below your school's IQ. And I remember my mom was there and she's like,
Why would they tell you that?
I know.
That's so dumb.
So I had really horrible experiences with that. So for the longest time I was like, oh, I guess I'm dumb.
That's very dumb.
Yep.
That's not because
Yeah,
the average is 100.
you're very dumb.
No, it's dumb
Thank
because
you.
the average is. I mean, you're in the higher average because it goes from like 80 to 120.
70 is a dog.
Oof.
Oh shit.
So
You sure you heard 114?
Because you're 114. 114 is in a high average.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I was
it depends
also
like what the test was too.
Wait, so you got tested for? I mean, if it was the test,
it was supposed
the
to be for
standardized-
ADHD, but it was very much like they were testing like my general knowledge and like maths and visual memory and reaction times and
Is this
like
there's only one test, anyways. for
I was
IQ.
doing like a lot of little tests.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was
that's the
doing.
whisk.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, I was
The
15.
Wishler Intelligence Scale for kids.
I felt
Whichever
According to them.
mine was, I did it at 13 or 14.
Wait, the wish
That's when I had my character development.
you
you
had.
realized.
you had your-
Did you have 70?
No,
That's
I had
when you
like
realized you were a
136
furry?
Or 137.
Hmm.
Yeah, something like that.
What a flex.
Honestly, it was just relieving.
Mm.
I've talked to you more about this, but
Wishler.
and maybe I brought it up a few times, but like the reason why I thought I was dumb is because I would just hang. I'm impressionable. It doesn't seem like it because I'm very hard headed, but I am impressionable. Like if I have no prior knowledge, that's my starting point. Especially when I was a kid, so I was hanging out with all the people with like learning disabilities. You know, so I was just like, oh, maths doesn't make any sense. I'm like, yeah, maths don't make any sense. And I kind of adapted to that. And then, like, latter half of high school, I hung out with people that were super into, like, quantum physics, string theory, and what have you. I was just like, okay. Like, I can kind of follow along. But enough about me. Enough about me. Listen, I'm humble, and I don't usually talk about myself.
Except
So I'll allow you the floor.
I already said enough. Apparently, I failed all the IQ tests when I was a kid.
How do you feel now?
116 is not failing.
Well, it was below
I
the
can't
standard.
believe no
Below
one told
my
you.
school standard.
Below
Yeah.
your school standard. Now
But that's-
that's
that's a-
literally the whole world.
That's what's crazy now is being 27 and looking back and being like, wow, you really said that to a 15-year-old kid.
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You hear 114 or whatever, you're just like, wow, it goes higher than 100%? That's awesome. I am smart.
They're just not down. Actually,
Yeah.
might be lower.
Also,
Seduce 14
even the
points.
fact that they did an average for the school is such a dumb, like, but it's so, it was in the lycée français.
No, this one I did was actually here in Quebec.
Okay.
No.
There's just the, like, why? Why do you feel the need to make an average for
It
your
was a
own
private school, so the
Was it?
I feel like
it's
there's something
very, like,
elitist.
yeah, it's very private school accurate.
Yeah.
Lower accurate.
Lower.
Wait, was it
private school
at
score.
Saint-Jean?
Yeah.
Oh, really? They have a...
No. But we went to see like some guy. I think it was in like in a lycée, and I guess they had like the average for like Saint Jean, probably other schools.
That's
Okay,
so
so
weird.
average or standard? Like,
I don't. I guess I probably did the average of the school. Yeah, I heard that.
sorry. I heard you. I listened. Doesn't take much for you. Are you high?
It just
Yeah, no,
I have to
may
live
or
with
may
this.
not have heard a fart.
No, it was nose blowing.
It did sound like a fart. It did sound like a fart.
Just like, why are you losing your shit about this?
I thought
Yeah. No.
Actually, if that was a fart, that
I was like,
foul.
oh, that's so to fart like this with two people she doesn't know. This is why I was
It's called
laughing.
comfort. It's called comfort, and
To be fair, it's her home. She's allowed to fart as loudly and
Yeah.
as long as she
Also,
wants.
she didn't.
That's so funny. Okay, no. never
Also,
mind then.
you have no problem farting in my home.
I
Exposed.
know because I'm friends with you guys, but I will not fart if like there are two people I don't
Oh,
know.
actually,
Just
that
because
I
you're
much.
insecure.
enjoy the smell of your fart.
I don't care.
You know, friendship is. I was gonna say syncopated.
Friendship is you take me as I am.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
That's not how that
That's what
works.
you've been doing anyways for 3 years.
No, that's not true. I've been criticizing you for 3 years.
Yeah, and yet you're still friends.
Yeah, because I have a tolerance for you.
It's been 3 years.
No, we're friends.
Yeah?
Yeah,
No, that we've known each other.
It's too long.
we've been friends the whole time.
Mm-mm.
What?
I was just like, oh, that's the silent girl that I never work with.
You're.
That's
Anything
true.
but-
No, we were still friends while not working that much together.
I
we
don't
were.
think so.
Yeah.
You led her on?
We were.
You made her think you were friends, but you weren't?
A lot of
That's
people think
fucked
that. A lot of people think
Because
that.
I do remember, like, it was, like, very rare when you were my supervisor.
Yeah,
Power dynamic.
I know.
that makes no sense. In the context, it makes no sense. I just remember. Okay, side note for intelligence for a second. Okay, this is what I remember.
Mhm.
I remember a few key pieces that I can't put chronologically just yet. So what I remember
Mm-hmm.
is seeing you for the first time. You were at the ovens and you look lost, confused, and timid.
Checks out, actually.
Okay.
You were always at the ovens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the beginners are oven.
That's true.
I don't remember interacting with you too much
Mhm.
at that moment. I also remember one time where I found you reading in the back, and you were using an envelope as your bookmark.
Okay.
And then the next day, I brought a signet for you.
Oh.
You did?
Yeah, and
That's
it's
so
and I know
cute.
exactly which one it is.
Did I give it back to you?
I don't know where it is. When I helped you move, I couldn't find it either, so you probably lost it.
I guess it didn't
all
mean
my
anything
books?
to you.
Well, yes.
Oh no.
You saw me go through your books. I took one. Well, you gave me one, but
Where is it?
well, I gave it to Matt for a little bit. He's coming back.
I'm kidding.
He's been having some fucked up
But
dreams.
I mean, I've only read one book in the past 3 years.
well,
That was the
I'm
one.
not.
So I'll look at it.
No, don't. It's fine. I don't use bookmarks.
Okay.
It's all in here. I'm not even joking. I'm hip.
I just for the record, my first interaction with her was in Spanish because I thought she was Latina.
She was like, ¿Eres Latina?
You were like,
And I was like, Asian.
And you're like, no. Gigi comes back.
And then you
return of
paired
Gigi.
me with another newbie, and you're like, so you guys are gonna work together so that you become besties. And then in my mind, I was like, Canadians, so cute.
That's actually very nice from you. I'm
was really
surprised
nice
I did
of you.
that.
And
We were nice with her.
I have
I
no
wasn't.
recollection of like my first interaction with you,
I
or with Shane, or with Lilith.
I think my first interaction with you was the me making fun of you for using an envelope as a signet, and there was like a
And
little
probably
like,
me being like, what the fuck is a signet?
no, you knew.
Do you not say signet in France?
No, I don't know what that word is.
I said
bookmark.
bookmark. I said bookmark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, you had the book open, and I pointed at the thing, being
But I
like,
remember
ha ha ha,
having a
this is sad.
conversation. I know I had a conversation with someone about the word signet. Because I know I learned it here.
Maybe it could have been me,
Yeah.
but
Taught me a new word.
you're welcome. I teach you a lot. I'm a sage and a wizard.
You're a wizard, Harry.
So the next and the next thing that I remember off of that is just the first cooking day
Oof.
with Thomas. That's when I actually like talked to you, I think. Well, it was great for me. Well, it wasn't great, but it was not great.
Not for everyone involved.
Yeah. And Shane was there.
It was fun if you removed that one little person. And I won't say who.
Little person.
That one person. Yeah.
Okay.
Confidential.
Secretary, why did I bring that up?
It's you because you're a woman.
Yeah. That's
What?
the only reason why I said that. No. Because you help me keep track of where I'm at.
Oh. Let me think. Well, we were at Jules' story. Of like, they keep... Oh, no.
Oh.
That you're impressionable. Were we still at that? No,
Oh, yeah.
that was before.
Yeah. Okay. So, going back to you, actually.
Why?
Because I wanted to ask, like, how you feel now.
Mm.
And I did ask, and you did start talking. But let's
Let's go back.
Click back into it.
I have realized today that I am a smart person in some areas, maybe not anything. And
Name one.
I need to go pee.
I don't get it. Oh, you are smart.
I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to get out of this situation.
You played me.
Trying to, I guess. Well, I mean.
I'm so sorry. You're just like, I'm smart in some regards. I'm like, name one. You're like, Dude, I'm not trying to gotcha.
You're making this worse for me. There's so many hairs in here.
I'm sorry. It comes
from
with.
all of his side holes.
I don't have side hoes.
Yeah, that's what they
They're
were
all. I couldn't make a joke out of it. Anything clever.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Also for my self-esteem, because it really fucks you up when you're a kid and you're kind of being told you're dumb, directly or not.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I tell myself I'm smart and I'm valid or whatever.
I don't think anyone's gonna understand
I'm
what you
coping.
said.
I'm coping.
Okay.
The way I just looked at you
Wait.
saying
Were
that.
you talking to me or talking to her?
To both?
In what way?
Oh no, I was talking. Well, I was trying to get you to agree with me.
Oh.
That's why you ignored me?
Gotcha.
Thank you.
No,
I'm
no,
sure
no.
like people
I was
used to
saying,
make me
like-
feel dumb in the past and you're like just looking at Jay the entire time.
Oh no, I said like I don't think anyone's gonna understand what you said because you talked but like
Oh, I
your
see what
voice
you
and
mean.
very fast.
Yeah, no, this is not
Say it
helping my
again
case.
verbatim.
Verbatim?
Yeah.
The whole thing, the whole
The whole
paragraph.
thing.
Wait, I'm gonna crack my feet.
I might
Wait.
have
Oh boy.
I might have failed the memory test, so I don't remember exactly what I said. I do think I'm smart. Not for everything. Well, not. I don't know. There's like different types of intelligence and everything.
Yeah, because we had a conversation about this, and it was with you and Lilith, and you guys were after me, like we had like
Classic.
You guys we had differing opinions.
I think it's because you were coming for someone.
Yes. Don't look at her as if
No,
she's
I wasn't
the one.
her.
Yeah.
I know.
I think that's why we got upset because you were quick to jump the gun. No, that's not the expression. You said this person was dumb, and we're like, whoa, 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 whoa! Can't just call people dumb like that.
Well, it depends. Like, what I mean by that. Like, I obviously understand that being, like, pointing the finger and be like, dumb, that it's insulting, it's hurtful. I know it's not like charitable or it's not nice to hear.
Yeah.
But it could be just like a lack of trying to navigate like a specific. I already do that so much.
I think it's more so that like maybe what the person did or said was dumb, but it doesn't make them dumb.
I understand that concept.
Yeah.
But on repeated, like like when patterns start showing, that's where I start cementing things.
Mm.
And it's not necessarily like. Well, let's say I'm still in that mindset of using like very staunch big words like dumb, not a big word, but it's a strong word.
But yeah. Was the debate kind of, can somebody be entirely dumb or not? Was it kind of what you guys were debating?
It's too bad because we debated about that like a long time ago.
I remember it.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was just breaking down the different types of intelligence.
Yeah.
And it wasn't clear to me that there was an acceleration in any of those, and that's fine. Oh, what I was gonna say,
what
like,
do you
if
mean
I
acceleration.
Well, like, if we're talking about, like, oh, some people are smarter in some regards and some people are dumber in other regards, there's kind of, like, an idea of, you have, like, graphs that are higher or, like, bars that are higher and bars that are lower. But it was, in my perception, it was more, like, closer together. Whether that average is lower or higher, it's not immediately clear to me. But, like, there was no immediate acceleration. And I think that's where you guys were kind of like pushing like, oh, just because this person might be lacking in the reasoning department doesn't mean that they're, or like logical department, let's say. That's just nose blowing. They might excel at in like emotional intelligence. But to that, in my refutations, like, it wasn't clear to me that there was an acceleration in that way. Make sense?
Why are you saying acceleration?
Like a high, like a compensation, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like if you're really lacking here, you make up for it here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. I don't remember the specifics, but maybe we meant it like hypothetical, because we don't have all the information.
Yeah, that's fair. But it's fine to me. It's fine to do like hypothetical talks and but like if we have a case study, and obviously I know more about the situation, right? Wouldn't it be more valuable to just figure out like what I mean by all of this, instead of being like, oh, like there's different, like, and being hypothetical.
Yeah.
It's not fair for me to like bring back this debate if you don't like remember it, because for all you know I could be making shit up,
Yeah.
But it was one of those things that was very interesting to me, because it solidified too, because I know what it's like to I have my own idea of what it's like to be called dumb.
Yeah.
And also this was prior to the discussions we had about your experience with being called dumb. So I know it's not like necessarily a light thing to just throw around, like a certain someone. You idiot! You dumbest boy in the land.
I do say that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Willy Nelly. Anywho, so
I guess for me it's like I understand like if someone was dumb in the moment, or if they're not like, or they're like dumb for a certain kind of things. I don't know. I think we're all like subject to doing something dumb.
Of course.
You know?
But the thing is, it's like once you do it a lot, or you do, like, let's say, again, it's just like the graphs. So let's say you were, if I don't know if I'm complicating it or simplifying it, but you have your classes, you know, your science, language, whatever, and you're really bad at science, but you excel in math for whatever reason, you're not gonna look at that person and be like, wow, that person's completely bad at school, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. But okay, fair. In the hypothetical, fair. Like you could just say this person's bad.
But you brought up a good example, because I think we weight things differently. For example, we're going to put, I think typically we put more importance to like logical or rational intelligence and like emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Like just now you were saying, if someone is bad at, what do you say, on maths or science? Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that they're completely bad in school. But there is a stereotype a lot that like, if you're good at either or both, it makes you a smart person. Like, I don't know, I'm thinking, for example, like, when I was in high school, and you probably did the same thing, because here in Quebec we have to choose for last year if you want to focus on culture or science or like heavy maths or whatever. And the people that decide to go in culture, which is like all social sciences and everything, they were called dumb because they didn't do maths or science.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there's more value that we put towards those things.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's what the debate came down to, because this person in question was dumb because they weren't making like logical or rational decisions. And maybe they're smart in something else, but we cannot compare those things, I guess.
Yeah, but where I was going towards is like, it's not clear to me where that person excelled in.
Yeah.
So, and like, maybe there's a niche thing out there, you know, that this person's really, really good at, and I don't say this like it's a prerequisite. Like, I don't think you need to be good at one thing if you are bad at something else. Mm-hmm. We all have our stat points, you know, that we all allocate differently. That made no sense to you, but the gamers out there get it. And
I see, though. I get it.
And some people just have a lower power level, you know, just overall. Except they can have like, do I want to do this example? They put all their points in like emotional intelligence, you know? They have like 0 in everything else, but they have like a full-on 63 in their emotional intelligence. And you know what? That could be enough to help someone, you know, to help like make a career out of, or just be a good friend to be around, you know? I acknowledge that. But if I see like all those stats, you know, relatively close to each other, and also more in the mediocre range, and I'm not saying this person is the case, but this is where I'm going to bring up the hypothetical. When I see that, that's where I'm just like, okay, dumb. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I could be more graceful with my wording. I could be like, actually I can't. I don't know how to be nice while saying something negative. That's been biting me in the ass in the last.
I don't remember because maybe you said they were just dumb, period, and that is like something I don't agree with. To just call someone like dumb. But maybe you said like they were dumb for this specific thing, and that is something that I would like agree with now. But maybe I didn't.
I said overall. Overall.
Yeah.
And that was the main debate. But the thing is like, well, I'll ask you this: why do you disagree with me calling someone dumb?
I think in this context too is that if it's someone that's close to you, because if it's someone we don't know, it's easy to, or that we barely know, it's easy to say like they're dumb. Okay, yeah. But if it's someone that's close to you, it's hard to hear from someone else like having them call them dumb.
Well, because intelligence is not. It's really rich for coming from me, but yeah, we're gonna have people checking the faucet.
Oh.
It's rich for me to say like intelligence isn't everything. Like again, I'm gonna make a comparison. Don't like it's not to be mean or in any way, but like I love dogs. Dogs are dumb as fuck, but they show loyalty, they show affection in a way.
Other qualities, yeah.
You know, and it's not just about intelligence. And in my like, sure that might be something that I personally value in like I value more. But I'm aware it's not everything, and this is not something I mentioned during the debate. At least I don't remember.
So it's more like what do we excel in that matters more than like what are we intelligent.
What makes you you know, if you want to broaden the talk, it's
because intelligence is like one value out of many. Yeah.
And people value intelligence and different types of intelligence in different ways, but also that's not the only pocket of what makes you stand out or what makes you valuable in itself, you know?
Yeah.
I could have made that clear, mind you, again, it's been like a year or whatever.
But I see what you mean, because we've definitely met people that like we like they're oblivious, or like we would qualify them as like golden retrievers or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're so loved and they're so like important to us or like, to the people around them.
Seb, hopefully you're not watching this.
Jesus, you and your name dropping. Your name dropping like this.
Wait, is his name Seb? Like the golden retriever in... I'm trying to pull you in. You're going down with me.
Asshole. What are we talking about?
So this...
He's trying to name drop someone, but I know who you're talking about. Yes, they're a golden retriever, but also they were super lovable and they had amazing qualities. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't come to him with my math homework, you know? He'd probably eat it.
Oh my god.
Although I've met some people of his type that were like good at maths.
Yeah, there's all types.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't one of them.
How do you know?
Oh, fair enough. The conversations I've had with him
didn't lead
pull me towards certain potential conclusions.
How can you have a conversation with someone and be like, you're not good at maths?
Well, maybe not specifically maths, which is fair enough, but there's certain patterns where you can make like math.
But then again,
if I could break it down,
again, math is like considered like the higher type of intelligence, you know?
There's a good reason for that, though. There's some good reason to that. Because you can split it into a lot of things. You can split it into logical breaking down and reasoning. You can break it down to memorization, like memorizing formulas. Yeah. Thoroughness and thoroughness, just being in fine detail, you know? There's a lot that goes into it. And say you can have that breakdown, and mind you, that was a shitty ass breakdown. It could go even deeper.
Yeah.
But you can have that same breakdown with emotional intelligence. You can have that breakdown with loyalty. You can have that breakdown with respect. You know, these things that aren't necessarily intelligent.
Yeah.
Or not at all intelligent. But there is depth to it, and there's value to it. You know? So I like a good golden retriever.
I also like a good golden retriever.
Yeah.
I'm a dog person too.
She doesn't.
She's a cat person.
She'd see
I am
Seb
a cat person.
and run away.
Cats are a lot more smart.
See, that's a funny thing, because that's kind of like the consensus. Like cats are like the the brainiacs and the dogs are like the like
Yeah.
Garfield, right? But no, I don't like cats.
I like raccoons. Raccoons are very smart.
You look like one.
You do give raccoon back.
Why did you say it like that too? I like raccoons.
Raccoon. I had something in my throat I had to swallow. But raccoons. I keep saying, what? Are you being a naughty boy?
But the way you said it.
Sorry.
No, it's not. It's just the content of
Not.
what you said. And what
We
the
say it the
potential follow-ups were. Crack. Crack, crack, crack.
Oh,
I had
It's not easy doing a podcast and having to turn your neck constantly to look at
I
people.
know.
Yeah.
just turn your body, dude.
Do you want to switch
No,
spots?
it's okay.
I think the middle
Kiss
sucks
my
because you have to go.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah.
It's
But
fine.
at
At
least
least
you have
you're
a
stretching both
balance.
sides.
I'm like this
True.
the entire time.
Hell yeah.
You could also like lean towards the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
armrest. Oh, she's very resourceful, is she? I'm kidding.
Don't you have something to swallow in your throat?
I told you to turn around, and you're just like, and you're like, rest. Just go on the armrest. And you're like, oh my god, that's so smart.
I know. This is what actually being smart is. Being smart is being able to come up with solutions in problem situations. Whatever
That's
the
what smart is?
problem situation may be.
Well, if I have a solution, I'm facing you. I'm kind of facing you more.
I don't like it. Well, I guess to wrap a nice, pretty little non-judgmental bow on that, yeah, like
The metaphors.
in
They're killing me.
a good way.
No.
Oh no. So, yeah, I believe there's, I do believe that there's value elsewhere in intelligence.
Mm.
So, actually, on behalf of that, let me re-ask you the question. You had said you disagree with me calling someone dumb.
Mm.
Do you still stand on that hill? The saying is die on that hill, but it's not that deep.
I know. Yeah, I think so, especially when it's someone that we know or that we're close to.
Why?
Because it's much more personal. And there's probably part of it, like, me being called dumb, like, and you know it too, it's just a feeling that sucks.
But like, despite
But he's
me
not
knowing
telling
that,
it to them at their face, which
Yeah.
arguably
It's
sometimes
so
not
much
worse,
better.
but like,
Yeah.
but also no. Not
Depends on the
everything has to be
situation.
said. Like, I don't think you should be telling them. There's no point in telling them.
yeah. But okay, but the question at hand is me just, let's say, classifying them as such, not just saying it, but classing. If I classify someone as dumb, do you still stand staunch on that? Like, do you still think that's something you disagree with? When I say disagree, I mean like you are not fond of my opinion on that.
I think so, but also I do feel like a hypocrite because I feel like if it was someone we didn't know or we didn't like, I would let it pass.
So where's the
I
difference?
think you disagree because it's such a. He's criticizing someone and he's attacking such a like an important and valued like trait.
Yeah.
No, it
Because
depends.
it's a. I feel like it's a lot more negative to say to someone like you're dumb rather than, actually no, to say of somebody that they're dumb rather than they're ugly, because ugly whatever. Dumb, it's a big thing.
Depends who you are. Some people are gonna they get called ugly and their entire world spirals.
Yeah.
Or,
But I guess
if-
it's like if you tell that someone doesn't have a sense of humor or like they're too serious.
that's
like,
my insecurity. If someone comes up to me and say you're not funny, I'm like,
But I feel like for some people they don't care as much as like being called dumb.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you didn't agree with that because for you it is important. Intelligence is important.
Yeah, I guess it's a value thing where, well,
do you find intelligence important? Or is it something that was hereditary? Not actually hereditary, but like
nurtured.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's what it is. I do think I place a lot of value on intelligence because the way I grew up and everything I was raised. But I know there is so much more to people than just intelligence, and that, I guess, cheesy as it sounds, it does really matter if people are good at heart and they're kind, more than anything else.
Why would you say that? That's corny as hell.
Yep.
Cringe.
Well, cringe.
Get out of here. There's a balcony right there.
Podcast.
That was funny. That was so funny. So, but when you seek out your relations, are you focusing on intelligence in any way?
I
like,
do.
Is high intelligence a green flag and is low intelligence a red flag?
No, I think I would still associate with both kinds of people. But I do think I place... Well, I don't know. That is a good question, actually.
You can ponder on it.
Wait,
sleep on it.
What's the question?
If you, when you're searching relationships in your own realm, like how much do you actually value intelligence?
And by the way, you mean like friendships and not just
all of
like,
it, all
of them?
relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I value it a lot because then what are you going to talk about?
That's what I think when you guys are kikiing.
There's also different levels of intelligence, you know? I don't know.
Here we go again. Different levels, different types.
No, but like levels as in like, it's not like 50-50 of my friends are like super genius, Einstein level smarts, and the other ones are dumbasses, you know what I mean? Like some friends are like super smart and they know about specific subjects, and then some people like, they don't have like, they don't like to have those kind of conversations, but they're smart about other things, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, but there are that, and then there are people who have none of these. This is what I consider people being dumb.
Yeah, I guess.
They don't necessarily.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Actually, yeah.
I feel like you're gonna have good times with people that have a lower.
I think there's a how do I say this? Not a ceiling.
Bar.
There's
a bar.
There's a
I think like if this is like the intelligence bar, maybe I like to be friends with people all over here, but below this, it's. Yeah, I want to have a conversation.
There's a ceiling in your friendship where at some point things are gonna just start like turning around because you won't be able to evolve to like deeper conversations or you know, like you won't be able to grow as much.
But I do think sometimes it's normal to hit like a point in a relationship where like you're stagnant, especially if you spend a lot of time with that person. Like what else is new that you can share with one another, you know?
It's like those
80-year-old
couples that are at restaurants and they don't say a word. They're just enjoying their presence.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's not the same thing as you've been together the whole time and then you're running out of things to say. That is different than there's a lot of things that you can't talk with that person because they're just not.
It could just
they don't have the
depth,
the intellectual resources to talk about them. These are like very two different things.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can have maybe I also don't know what you mean by intellectual resources.
It's just to say like dumb or not.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like you can have no recollection and no knowledge of a topic, but you can navigate and make connections real quick and have an interesting back and forth with someone. Let's say I'm talking to like a professional, and I have like just like the surface level understanding. They start talking, and I'll start talking like, oh, so it's kind of like this. Oh, what happens if you do this? And the thing is, it's like, sure, you're gonna have some conversations that are just like some dumbass that doesn't know what they're talking about is just asking me some really like easy questions, let's say. But sometimes you're gonna have someone that's gonna ask questions that they've never heard before, because you'll have like these two extremes of like talking to someone who has no idea how to navigate the topic because they have no idea anything about it. You have people that know about it, so they speak. Both have their own specific ways of being approached. Sometimes you're gonna have someone in the middle where they have some recollection, or like I was saying, they can make the connections, and that professional is gonna be like, oh, this is an interesting conversation. It's like kind of thinking outside of the box. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's where I'm like, it just depends on the scenario. I was going off of like, if you intellectual resources, as in like knowing the topic that you're discussing. Is there's a skill in like, I keep using the word navigate, but it's not necessarily the word to entertain. So there's a skill in entertaining a topic so you can develop it even if you don't have prior knowledge to it. Sorry, I'm opening a lot of threads here. I can see I see some smoke coming out of your left ear.
Yeah.
We can roll it back. I'm opening a lot of things.
I'm trying to think of the word that you're trying to find for.
Oh, I entertain.
No, but someone that wants to learn a new.
Is entertain not the right word to use? Does entertain, to me, entertain? No, I think I'm wrong. to elaborate and to dive in and to play along.
Yep.
Is that the right word?
Entertain, yeah. Play along, entertain, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's. But I don't mean it like in the surface like, okay, fine, I'll tolerate this. You know, like very much like, okay, I'm not too sure where this is going. Yeah, participate. And sometimes where I was going to
But it's interesting what you're mentioning, because we're talking about like different like levels of intelligence, like the resources that they have and everything. And in this context where you're talking to a professional that has more resources, you're considered less intelligent than them. But there has to be something about a conversation that's stimulating.
Yeah, there's still a bridge being built, despite the again, this is going off of if we're using the term like intellectual resources as like quantitatively
knowledge.
Like exactly, like how much knowledge do you know about a topic?
No.
You're talking about maybe the tools of
like that. Yeah.
Reasoning
like,
and
yes,
connections, patterns, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Because ultimately, when you test your IQ, this is what you're testing. You're not testing how much do you know about this, about that. You're testing like how can you solve this problem. That's what I said. Intelligence is finding a solution to like a problematic situation. It's like how do you make use of all your available resources that are in your mind to solve the problem? Like how much of these tools do you actually have in order to solve a situation that you might know everything about, like know nothing?
Mm-hmm. So that's actually you bring up an interesting thing that I should have brought up at the start. Before I say this, or I kind of open another chapter, do you have any thoughts on that? On what you just said?
No.
So your definition of intelligence is very much on the problem solving side.
Yeah, because you have to use all of different spheres of intelligence.
Okay.
So like there's memory, and then all of the different like depending on the situation.
How does memory solve the problem? Actually, before I want to keep on that question.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know your definition of intelligence.
I want to look up all the different spheres because I used to know them and I forgot.
Looks like memory wasn't the highest.
No, it's not. I didn't say I was intellectual. I'm very dumb.
For me,
what does that make me?
I love how you guys are having a full better. I'm still thinking about the answer to your question.
Hmm?
You guys were having like a full back and forth, and I was still like, just like all my brain cells. I'm like, what is intelligence? Yeah.
I already burned out 3. I have 1 more left.
For me, intelligence. The first thing that came to mind is making connections.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the first thing. What is she looking at?
The different.
The spheres.
Yeah, the spheres.
Like, what are the domain tested in IQ tests?
Do you make IQ and intelligence synonymous?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like when I was trying to find the word sphere, I was just doing this.
Just filling a sphere.
But that's one thing I'm not sure though. Is IQ? I mean, yeah, because IQ is literally like intellectual quotient.
Yeah.
Whatever, however you pronounce it.
Quotient. Can I ask you this question while you look that up?
Mm-hmm.
How does memory solve a problem?
Because you have to remember everything that you've seen, everything that you've learned, everything that you might not be using every day, but that is still stored somewhere in your brain. Or everything that you use every day, you still have to be able to go look into your little folders and be like, oh, I have this in my brain.
Okay. Does that include like an active approach, or is that exclusively an active approach, or does that include a passive approach?
Both, I would say.
Okay.
Because you're not always like, wait, do I remember this? Like, do I have this in my head?
Okay.
Sometimes just like...
And I have an answer to this, but let's say if I talk about the bookmark, what problem does that solve?
What do you mean?
Me remembering that.
You remembering the... No, I'm not saying having a great memory is a sign of you being intelligent. It's more of, in a problem-solving situation, putting at work your memory is a sign of intelligence.
Oh, like going into the file cabinet in the back.
Yeah.
What if it comes...
Like, being intelligent is not only logic, it's also... I mean, like, the way you're going to solve something, you have to retrieve informations, and so you have to know whether they're there or not, and then you have to remember what the information is.
Okay, yeah, I can see the...
So it's, like, problem solving, but it involves different domains of, the like, cognitive and intellectual.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think it's an interesting take on it. Like, I've definitely seen, like, to me, my superpower is seeing patterns and making connections, building bridges. Do I associate that with intelligence? Maybe, but not, like, immediately.
That's one domain, though.
Yeah, but it's an interesting umbrella to put it all under problem solving. There's some flaws in that. I just don't know what it is yet. I will find the holes and I'll puncture them to make them bigger.
Do you guys want to know the spheres?
The spheres. Yes, please.
The spheres.
How many are there? I hope there's at least 2.
That's only part of like the regular standardized test. So there's verbal comprehension, like visual how do you guys visuospatial, spatial?
Oh, yeah.
Visuospatial.
I dropped out.
Fluid reasoning. Work memory.
What the hell is work memory?
I'm not sure that's how you say. Just memory. But it's a type of.
What is this in French?
Mémoire de travail.
Oh, okay.
So it's a type of memory which involves just the way you acquire new skills with memory. So there's like memory, the information comes in, and then there's like a buffer that
the digestion. Digestion.
Yeah. No, it's more like how you retain the information. Like you like repeat it, and then it goes into your back, and it's like it's short-term memory. It's part of the short-term memory. Anyways, whatever. And then there's speed of. I'm translating everything I'm going.
Say it in French, and I'll do the translation.
Vitesse de traitement. Process speed. I guess processing speed.
Processing speed.
Yeah.
You'll do a better job at translating, actually, because my instinct was direct translation.
Yeah. Wait, can I see them?
Mhm. Oh, and then there's there's also no, that's for kids. And then there's cognitive, general skills, nonverbal. That's for kids.
That is so interesting.
So visual spatial is the puzzles. Verbal comprehension is like stories and
like,
ask questions.
Everything that they have under, I know exactly. Like, for example, mémoire de travail, working memory. The sequence let shift is like makes me think when someone tells you a sequence of random numbers and how much you're able to remember until you're like getting stuck. The same with like they give you a grocery list and you have to like spew back like what does I remember. Yeah.
The test is they give you like a sequence of numbers and it goes longer and longer.
Yeah.
Like the more you can, the longer it gets. And at some point they ask you to repeat it, but like the other way around.
Yeah. Processing speed. That is, for example, they'll put you in front of a computer and you have to. They're going to give you like 3 different letters and you have to react really fast as possible and input the right letter.
Yeah.
And then the test stops when like you get the wrong letters multiple times. Visio-spatial. Puzzle visual cube.
So these are you have to either like reproduce a puzzle that you've seen, or you have to make there's a piece and you have to make it fit.
Right. Yeah. Oh, like what the game we were talking about earlier, where like you try to make fit all the puzzles.
Yeah.
Raisonnement fluide, arithmetic.
That's
Math and compréhension verbale, understanding vocab and information.
So you have to, I think they give you a word and you have to give the definition, or they read like a text and there's like questions or something.
Did you want to share?
I'm aware.
I'm aware.
Be gone from me. I know, don't touch me with that peasant phone. Did you know there's such a thing as a Rubik's pyramid? It's so much easier than a Rubik's Cube.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't play it, so.
Yeah. All you gotta do is solve one side and everything solved itself.
I
impressed. Okay, the breakfast, the brunch you missed. I impressed everyone there by doing it, and I was just like.
But you didn't tell them it was easy.
I did tell them. They thought I was flexing. It didn't help that 2 other people tried it and they just couldn't do it for like an hour. Pardon my French, but maybe they were just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Bet.
sorry.
Well, I don't know them, so I don't care.
True. Yo, chillax, dude.
What?
It's my lane. Alright? I'm not done.
Do you even know the ref for this?
I don't know any of your references.
That's the issue.
Okay, tell me what the reference is.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh. I only know the... You are my fire. It was number 5.
That is like the most...
Number 5 killed my brother.
Famous scene from
your processing speed is very slow.
No, I was trying to... Because I was like, okay, the song, fine. I couldn't please say it. Like, what?
She got it before.
I know, but I haven't watched as much as she did, maybe. Yeah.
True. Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
Stop!
What are your thoughts? Okay, what do you have experiences with being smart, being dumb, being neutral?
I generally think I'm on the dumber side.
Yeah? Generally or
when
genuinely?
When I was a kid, I was like you. So I was cruising through school, was not doing anything, and everything was really easy. And then I went into high school, and then on my second year of high school, out of the 3 years, suddenly everything stopped making sense. Like, it was really, really bad. I loved math. I was really good at math my whole life. And then suddenly things were so bad I had to go see, like, a tutor. And then, like, nothing was making sense to me. Like, nothing was making sense to me. Like, I would understand the class, the theory, and then they would put me in front of the exam, and then I would, like, brutally fail. And at my school, we were very, very competitive. Like, we all knew our, like, the placement.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we were...
That was in France, yeah?
Where did I go to high school?
She took offense.
Listen, you've been all over the place.
No, I grew up in Indonesia. I was in a French school, but I grew up in Indonesia. My school were in Indonesia.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I was just like, that sounds like an Asian thing.
I know.
It is.
No. Yeah, but it's a private school thing.
It's also an Asian thing.
It's a private school thing.
It's an Asian thing.
And we were like...
Being inclusive here.
The whole grade was like 30 people, and we were like 16 per classes. So it was very easy to all know everything about each other and like kind of, and we were pushed in that direction too. Like, it was a very like elitist. I need to stop saying like. It was a very elitist school. So we would all know. And I just remember my whole life I was just battling for, and I know it's just...
Water's back on.
Yay.
Thanks.
No, it's not a lot, but I was always battling to be like 4th or 3rd or 5th or whatever. And it's not a lot out of like 16, but whatever. It's still the top tier, right? And in high school, I was literally like second to last.
So hypothetically, if I were to just pop up and be like, "You're dumb," would you take offense to it?
Would take offense, yeah.
Or would you accept that this is the truth?
No, a lot of offense. No, regardless of if it's true or not, I would be deeply hurt.
Oh man.
But I would be like, checks out.
How about now?
Now, I'm definitely not the smartest.
What makes you think that? Or what?
I don't know.
Where do you think you lack?
I like in...
Is there one thing that you excel in?
No.
Oh. Jules has plenty. She just can't name one.
I still think I have it.
She's just like, come on, when that one breaks out, just work it.
Yeah.
Search through that file cabinet.
I'm trying to think, but... No, I'm really not that good.
Are you saying that because you're comparing yourself to others?
Yeah, probably.
Who are you comparing yourself to?
I don't know, everyone around me. I think the one thing that I'm insecure about is that
precise.
I don't feel like I'm lacking curiosity in the subjects that interest me, and I never go in depth to really know everything about what I care about. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I should know more facts, more statistics, more
Why?
like more things. I should know more about everything.
She wants to know more about the metro.
I know. Yeah, see? Random things like that. The thing is, I always have my little, like, very interest. I'm like, I love this. But then I'm like, you should know more. You know?
And what's stopping you? You said the motivation?
The lack of curiosity. Or, like, the lack of discipline, I guess.
Is discipline or curiosity? Those are two big things.
They're both. No. Discipline.
Well, it makes sense because if you're worried that you don't have that curiosity, you want to at least have the discipline to force yourself.
No, I am
because
curious.
she has the passion for it. She has the interest.
Yeah.
And I feel like curiosity comes with interest. I don't think you can be curious without interest.
Well, sometimes people are satisfied with just knowing enough, even if they don't have the full picture or they don't know everything.
Yeah, because they're not interested or curious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Can you be curious into something you're not interested in?
I mean, you can be interested. I mean,
yeah.
Give me an
Just
example.
because the fact that you don't
Pokemon.
know.
I love Pokemon, but I'm not gonna go like do a deep dive and find out everything about
Well,
like
that's not what we're
what's
talking
and
about.
everything.
Like the two terms, interest and curiosity.
I'm not interested about Pokemon, but when she's like, oh, this card is so fucking expensive, I'm like, oh, I'm curious. Why? Or like, let me see.
Well, because you're probably interested in the worth and the value of stuff and
No,
why
I'm not
people
gonna
enjoy it.
I'm not gonna resell it. I'm just interested in like, oh, why? How come this card is more, but I'm like not interested.
By the way, you said expensive.
As soon as I know,
expensive.
As soon as I know, I'm like, okay, now I'm done. And I can't hear about it ever again.
And then you're no longer curious.
And then
I feel like you have a temporary interest in it.
I guess the fact that I'm curious made me interested for sure.
Yeah.
But then that goes away as soon as I get the information that I wanted to retrieve.
Yeah. So they go hand in hand.
Yeah. I think so.
Nice.
I guess.
Okay, so it's very much a discipline on your end.
Yeah,
And
I think.
why?
Maybe a lack of interest too. Of wanting to go further. But I want to be... Because the more I know, the more I'm able to talk about it, debate, defend my point. Blah, blah.
Are you just soaking that sponge of knowledge to debate?
Big.
To defend your points?
Yes, because I feel.
Trust, I did that shit. It's a
I
dangerous
feel
thing.
that when I have this conclusion that no, that's smart. It's when I will have a conversation with someone and I'm not able to prove my points because I don't have the knowledge and the facts to explain myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but then you kind of answer your own question in the sense like it's not a question of intelligence, it's a question of discipline.
Yeah.
And do you find a motivation to make up for that lack of knowledge from that moment, or do you continue on your day like nothing happened?
I'll find the motivation after.
Yeah.
But not enough still.
Not enough in what do you mean?
Like I would need to dive in more.
Well, I mean, one could say you could continue rendering your understanding. You can keep chiseling at the sculpture, but at a certain point, you can be satisfied with.
Mm-hmm.
You can have an image at some point, right?
Yeah,
you can have a nice sculpture. Is it clear to you when that sculpture is built, or does your piece of marble always look like a big rock?
No, I feel like I'm always gonna be missing some information. But no, I feel like it's very low that I can.
Right. Like there's a lot. You can go higher by a lot.
But no, to me it's more. So there's that, but I feel like it kind of diverges from what actual intelligence is. So I feel like for me it's more. I'll be in situations and I won't think about the solution right away, even though. I could have accessed it.
Right.
Yeah.
Assessed it?
Accessed
it. Well, there could be different ingredients that play into that. It could be anxiety. It could be, anxiety is a big thing, like stress and stuff like that, depending on the situation. It could be your fatigue as well. Your wait, what's it called? Your train of thought. I wanted to call it a brain train. your train of thought is going in one direction. Then when you're prompted with another question, you gotta like stop and then turn around and like go back for it. So it takes longer. So it is an interesting. To me, it's not immediately, and as you said, it's not like immediately like a question of intelligence, but definitely more. It definitely sounds more in the realm of solely discipline and that realm.
The looking for facts, whatever, yes, but the second one not necessarily.
Who's the one that you said? No, different conversation. Okay. With different person. Good job. I saw you at least once you wanted to cut her from. You wanted to like interject, and I saw you like you're like.
Thank you. I feel like it's difficult because when do I interrupt? You know?
As if there's as if there's a like etiquette, you know? Like I'm gonna interrupt. I just don't know when.
The way you asked the question was so funny. It's like, you know. I want to clip it.
You're just like, but when do I interrupt? You know? I mean, it's a valid question. It's important when you're actually crying. Whenever you feel, okay, as long as you.
Now I have 2 things in my backlog, and it's too much for my brain.
You got a lot of. Okay, no, I was gonna make a computer joke, but
nerd.
Yeah. Say your things, and I'll say my thing.
Oh yeah, can you elaborate? You said earlier that you said it's a dangerous thing. Because Nelly Expose your government name. Was mentioning that you were mentioning that you would like to have the facts to be able to argue better, and then you said, I don't remember exactly how you said, but you said, oh yeah, don't do that, it's a dangerous thing.
It's a dangerous thing, I've done it.
Oh yeah.
You want me to elaborate on that?
Yeah.
So if your what's the word, your incentive to learn is to combat others, you're already painting it in a combative and in a light. You're preparing for a fight rather than a discussion, and or like you're not going in an absorbent way.
Yeah,
you know?
And it's also like you should learn things for you, not like
to
the
attack.
purpose to attack people.
That's his biggest thing. I've done I've done this before where I would like look at a lot of things that I disagree with to try to find the flaws, just to see where I can poke holes. And it was just, if I wanted to stay true of who I wanted to be as someone who is that can be as close as possible to objectivity and be very much able to set aside my biases, that was not the way to do it. And that's my specific thing, but like in a general sense, why I think it's dangerous is because you're anticipating a fight at all times, essentially. Right? And your other thing.
But it's also because I want to be sure my opinion is based on the true fact and that I have the right opinion. Completely aware of all the different.
Yeah.
But what if you don't have the right opinion?
No, what she's saying is
then
like...
I'll know.
Then
I'll change.
Like what...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think what you mean by that is like having the most puzzle pieces possible so you can have an accurate picture.
Yeah.
But the thing is if you take specific pieces for like I'll break it down very simply, like, oh, for this counter argument or for this, or like if this side always like argues about this topic, then I can go closer. Right. So that's the dangerous thing, right?
Yeah. No, but that's not how I'm going.
Ideally, you go a bit everywhere and you like play an Easter egg hunt where you just pick little pieces and you're bored slowly but surely. Like you don't just fill up one area. You slowly but surely fill up everything.
The metaphors.
That's okay. That's the way I connect. Goddamn.
I know.
Puzzle pieces that's my biggest one. This is like my recent thing. Just puzzle pieces make so much sense to me. Like even when it comes to compatibility, it's like people. I was having this conversation with someone where I was saying like, you can have two people that are jigsaw puzzles that fit perfectly together, and you can have this magical jigsaw puzzle that has this power to like adapt and to mold to different puzzles. Some are more rigid, some are more flexible. And I don't know, I've been on this craze with jigsaw puzzles. I don't remember the last time I've done one, but it just, like, the metaphors just fit into place, if you know what I mean.
So my other question...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Nelly.
Yes.
You say you think you're dumb, but do you think low-key, like somewhere deep inside you're smart, but it's just maybe it sounds more socially acceptable to say that you're dumb?
No. I don't think I'm smart. I don't think I'm above average. I don't think I'm below average either. I think I'm just the plain average. But it's just sometimes, and I know that's not true, but I associate being smart with just knowing a lot of random facts or having like a big general knowledge.
I'm the complete opposite. People that are just like throwing me factoids, I'm just like, okay.
I feel like that's one thing
I do that with you.
I know a lot of random things, but I feel like I should know more. That's one thing I'm proud of. Sometimes I have to, I'm like,
the nerd glasses.
I know the answer.
Oh. You didn't have to lift. That is not okay.
Well, I hope you're happy knowing you're not a nerd. Just one of the cool kids.
Thank you.
Let's not be liars here, okay? Are you satisfied with that answer?
I guess.
But I think I'm not.
Why
super-
would you? Why would you? That didn't answer the at all. She just started it, and you're just like, oh, okay.
No, I asked a question and she answered it. Woohoo! Good job, everyone.
No, you asked a specific question.
I did, and she answered.
I'm not saying that I'm dumb because I think it's socially acceptable or because I'm trying to be modest. I don't actually think I'm dumb. I just think sometimes it could be better.
Okay, let's say the average is 50%.
Mm-hmm. I'm 50.
You're 50. You think you're 50. Truly.
I mean, yeah.
All right.
Or if not less.
Okay.
I really don't. There's nothing that I'm good at.
Well, like I said
Intellectually
earlier, like
speaking.
your total, like you could have like a lot of different points in different types of intelligence in in different places, and they could be relatively average. But if you accumulate all those points together, you get your power level.
I see. Yeah. Maybe I've never gotten tested or anything because that terrifies me. Because what if I'm like,
You'll have your answer.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but then I would rather live in ignorance rather than taking the chance of being told you're below average.
Really?
Yeah.
So you'd rather just assume that you are,
I would rather be...
because you're already living like that.
I'm already assuming that maybe to some people I'm smart, to some other people like I'm dumb. Whatever, that's fine.
Does that change after you take
I
the
don't
test?
want to know what Yeah, because then I'm gonna have an objective truth. I'm gonna have a result that I'm gonna take as an objective truth.
I mean, true, but also another objective truth is some people are smarter than you, some people are dumber than you.
Yeah.
That won't change.
That won't change.
The only thing that changes is you have a label now.
Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily want the label.
And you don't have the discipline to navigate
I'm
around.
very interested. Like, I would love to do it just for a hee because I'm very curious, but
Are you
I feel like
interested
that would
too?
fuck me up.
It kind of does for me. I also wish I didn't know what
Also, that was a very long time ago. Like, this is definitely not valid anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
probably deducted a few
You did a
points.
kid's test.
Stop!
Even if you did kids'
'cause-
test when you
I
were...
don't know, because the tests are
Yeah.
standardized depending on what age range you are.
Right.
Yeah, my IQ is probably going to be
200?
250.
Yeah.
something like that.
I just was gonna say that.
Yeah, they're simplified.
Yeah.
No,
You
no,
know
I
that
still
your frontal
even
lobe
if
is fully
even if it
developed.
changed, whether it got higher or lower, I think I would prefer not knowing.
Mhm.
We threw a lot of pieces onto the floor. Puzzle pieces, my
Yeah.
bad. And it's for you, an autonomous, intelligent, hopefully, individual,
Or
to
dumb.
pick those pieces, the pieces that you want to pick up, and build something magical with it. Okay? We're not going to give you the answers. We're not going to tie the ribbons for you. We're not going to give you the answer. Because the answer is in here. Bye. Shout out to Jules.
Queer things.
Jesus. Shout out to Jules, our guest.
Get this out too for daddy. Because you're like queer.
Because I'm weird like that.
Yikes.
Sorry.